In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. He was in the beginning with God. All things were made through him, and without him nothing was made that was made.
For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever believes in him should not perish, but have everlasting life. For God did not send his Son into the world to condemn the world, but that the world through him might be saved.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the show. You are watching Untethered Live, the Deep End Bible Study. This Monday night, I'm your host, Jake Johnson, and I'm coming to you live from the internet, right out there in the ether, right into your brain, via some cords and cables and pixels and whatnot. It's kind of gross when you think about it, but that's what we're doing here. Hope you're having a good time so far. I hope you enjoyed the celebration last night, the celebratory smoke-a-thon, the big old Cuban cheroot puffing away, celebrating 300 episodes. 300 times I've been in your living room or in your phone or in your bedroom or in your car or in your closet. I've been there watching you, peeking, waiting to see. Just waiting. Mostly waiting. Why am I whispering? I don't know. This is getting weird. Maybe I should go back to normal volume. What do you think? Okay, I'm with you. And so, 300 episodes we have been out here, shilling God's word, pushing it out for all to hear, people with eyes to see and ears to hear and noses to smell and mouths to keep shut. Can't hear when your mouth is open. Remember that. It's wise words. My mama told me that a long time ago, and I never shut up. But I should have. I'd have learned a lot more if I'd have listened. Anyway, now it's too late. Take my advice. Keep your mouth closed and your ears opened, and you will learn amazing things. That being said, tonight we're in the book of Nehemiah. We've gone right through Ezra and right into Nehemiah. We're in chapter 10, verse 32. That's a pretty good long ways away from Ezra. We did a lot last night. We covered a lot. Covered a lot of ground. I like it when it reads like that. What I don't like is tripping over all those god-awful long words that seem to have more consonants than syllables. Yeah, that's a lot. That's pretty much everybody in the Bible. And then they'll have, just to make you mad, they'll have a name like Ricky. And Ricky. Or Joel. Or John. Or Job. And then they've got a guy in there named I guess they just got lazy. We'll just name him What's his name? Okay. All right then. Anyway, enough jokes about the Bible. You shouldn't make jokes about the Bible, even though sometimes it's funny. And then I make jokes about them. Last night I was making all kinds of comparisons to what was written 3,000 years ago compared to what was happening today in today's news. And I really like it when it lines up like that because it makes it obvious. It makes it where you can see. This is really still going on. Nothing has changed. There's nothing new under the sun, says Christ. Here it is, right before your very eyes. Written 3,000 years ago, and the guys in the White House doing it today. No difference. So I kind of like that, and I kind of don't like it, because there's not a lot of progress. You know what I mean. Anyway, who's with me so far? Yes, I'm a little horse. They call that a mule. I'm a little mule. I was out working in the cold all day today. That's why I'm a little hoarse. Not all day, but relatively. It's going to be one of those slow Monday nights, I can tell. It's already 8:35 and nobody's here. Nobody but me. Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows my sorrow. Nobody knows the trouble I see. Nobody knows but Jesus. There's your gospel tune for the decade. That won't happen again. I apologize. I don't know. I might do it. Who knows? All right. I'm just shooting the breeze until somebody shows up and says hello. Otherwise, I'm just talking to myself here and switching scenes for no apparent reason. Come down here, go up there, jump way in there like that, and then go back down here, and then back up here, and then do one of those. I say do one of those, or maybe not. And do one of those. Okay, so my thing is broken. Let's just pretend like it went across the screen and then back. So my patron and very good friend and family member, April, sent me some pictures and some videos of some Elvis impersonators. And I haven't received them yet, but when I receive them, I will put them, hey, Diego, on the podcast so that everybody can enjoy it. How are you doing this fine evening, Mr. Diego? Mr. Fuentes, are you any kin to that other guy? You know, the other guy, the milker guy? You're not any kin to that guy, are you? Nick? Is that his name? Nick Fuentes? Or the guy that's on the news? That Fuentes? No relation? I hope not. You have family visiting for Christmas. Well, tell them I said hello. Hello, family. Hola. Tell them to join the podcast. We're going to get into some good reading tonight. There it is. As if on cue and 10 minutes late. There's my lower third that I wanted earlier that would not show up. You were playing cards with him? What game? I just joined because I'm out of the game? You mean you wouldn't have came on if you were still playing cards? That's mean. You didn't have to tell me that. I like to think you came because you like me. And you learn a lot. They come from Charlotte, North Carolina. That's amazing. I'm not too far from Charlotte, North Carolina. See, if they get on the podcast, they came a long way to see right back where they came from. I did some work in Charlotte a while back at the Goodyear Rubber and Tire Company there. Put in some pipes. Got filthy, black as an ace of spades for about 12 days. You couldn't see nothing but my mustache running around. That's what happens when you work in a rubber company. You just get black. Soot everywhere. And on everything and in every crevice. I remember it fondly. Made a lot of money there. I could have joined earlier. Well, nobody's perfect. But you're here, and that's what matters. Thank you. Thank you for coming. Thank you for thinking about me, even if I am an afterthought. I'll take it. Everybody else will be along shortly, I imagine. It's Monday. You know how those days go. Mondays. Slow. Matter of fact, I'll shoot April a text right now and tell her we're on. If I can find her number. Here it is. It says, I'm live. Where are you? I got a nice big old fat blister on my finger from doing yard work yesterday. Operating a manual backhoe. You know a little bit about that, don't you? Got the good old blisters to prove it. I actually did work. Went over to my boss's house. He's got a big old hilly yard. Big yard. Like 5 acres or something like that. Nothing but leaves. Big leaves everywhere. And pine straw. We spent the morning and afternoon, raking and filling up tractors. Dump. Like a dump. I can't think of the word. Not a backhoe, the other thing. And getting rid of all the leaves. It was a good day's work. Always feel good when you do a good hard day's work. Makes you feel like a man, like you've accomplished something. It's good for your soul. I never miss studying the Word of God. I was going to join either way. Well, thank you, sir. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy studying it with you and for you and around you and because of you and in spite of you. I just enjoy it. And I get better at reading, too. That's a good thing. Good practice. You ever want to improve your reading skills, try to get through one of those genealogy pages out loud. It's tough. Try to do it and have a modicum of I know what I'm doing on your face. Oh, that's almost impossible. Sound like a retard when you read those words. I've never met anybody that could do it, not unless they practiced 3 or 4 times before they filmed it. But not just picking it up and reading. Some of those words I don't even think can come out of a human mouth properly. Not in the language I speak anyway. They're one of them Indian guys that have all the L's, blah, 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 blah. Those guys, they can't say R's. They all sound like L's. You get those guys with that kind of tongue, they could probably speak like that, but I can't. Like the nitpicking nerd. Have you ever heard of that guy? Do you know who that is? The nitpicking nerd on YouTube? He's a guy that does mostly Star Trek reviews, but he does other things too. But anyway, he's got that kind of voice I'm talking about. You have to really pay attention to understand what he's saying because he speaks English, but he does it with a foreign tongue. So everything sounds like this all the time. He puts extra L's and things. Anyway, whatever language he speaks, he could probably read the Bible without tripping because the words in his language are probably formed like that. The words in my language don't have that many consonants. And I speak with a strong southern drawl anyway, and I try to hide it for the most part when I'm reading, but it comes out. By saying just, I meant that I joined at the time and not earlier because I was out of the game. I was going to join. I know, I was just giving you a hard time. You ain't got to explain that. I appreciate you being here. I was just teasing you. You know I do that, right? I have a wicked sense of humor. Where is everybody? My Caucasian's not even here. Somebody else is here, though. They're hiding in the back. I see you peeking back there. Come on out and say hello to everybody. I'm going to give it a couple of more minutes, and then I'm going to get started. Y'all can always come back and watch later if you're not going to be here live. I've been running hard as I can go today, doing some extra work, trying to get work done before the holidays hit because my shop's going to be closed for like 3 weeks, and I will have no income. So I've been trying to get as many hours as I can get some extra cash up so I can coast a little while. That may or may not work, but we'll see. I think he's closing Wednesday, so I think that'll be the last day I work for the next 3 weeks. But that'll give me time to focus on my house and get things done around here that I need to get done. That I haven't done because basically by the time I get home and get the podcast done, I'm exhausted and don't have the energy to do it. And at least now I'll have some free time to get her done, reclaim my house. As you know, right now I'm living out of one room because the rest of my house is under construction. Won't be that way for long, though. I'll get it done. I got to build some cabinets. A cabinet maker I am not. I have lots of talents. That isn't one of them yet. I will learn because it needs to be done. And I'm not going to pay somebody else to do something I'm capable of doing myself. Have you had a good week, Diego, so far? I know it's only Monday, but weekend, let's say that. Have you had a good weekend? Enjoying your family, I suppose. Let's come on down here. Put some words up on the screen. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That never gets old. All right. I guess we're going to get started since you're not going to answer me. If you got your Bibles handy, ladies and gentlemen, crack them open to Nehemiah. That's right after Ezra, chapter 10, verse 32, and that's where we'll start today. After I clean the smudge off my glasses. Hey. Also, we made ordinances for us to charge ourselves yearly with the third part of a shekel for the service of the house of our God. So they made rules that they could follow, and that particular rule was a fee so that they can keep the money flowing in the house of God. No, God doesn't need your money, but the church does. The man doing the teaching does need money. He cannot survive and teach the word of God. He can't be in two places at once. That's why it's up to the church to take care of the man so that he can do his job. In little churches, it's really hard to get by. So that's why they made rules for everybody to follow, like this one. And for the showbread, and for the continual meat offering, for the continual burnt offering, of the Sabbaths, of the new moons, for the set feasts, and for the holy things, and for the sin offering, to make an atonement for Israel. All these things require effort and money. And where's the money come from? The church. That's where they get it from. That's how they can keep moving. And for all the work of the house of our Lord, or our God. And we cast the lots among priests, or we make them choose straws or gamble or pick a number from 1 through 10. That's what that means, casting lots. They decided who goes first based on how they pick. And we cast lots among the priests, the Levites, and the people for the wood offering to bring it into the house of our God. So they take turns bringing the wood in. After the houses of our fathers, at times appointed year by year, to burn upon the altar of the Lord our God, as it is written in the law. So what that means is they pick a number. Whoever goes first every year. And then they'll take turns as they go along. There's 12 tribes, so each tribe has a certain amount of people who have houses, and those houses have leaders or fathers, the patriarchy of the house. And according to that house, they pick their number, and then they go at their appointed time. That way there's always wood to burn on the altar, and it's that family's turn at that particular time of year to go out and get the wood and bring it to the house, chop it up and get it ready. So it's not laid on one person. They spread the responsibility across everybody. Everybody pitches in. Everybody helps make the thing go. That's what a community does. Everybody who is involved, if you learn from that place, then you need to pitch in and help that place function. regardless of what you do, whether it's money or whether it's getting people to come or whether it's running in the chat, making sure nobody screws up, or printing flyers or advertising. There's something that can be done by everybody involved. That's what has to happen. That's how a church works, and this is a church. And the firstlings of our herds and of our flocks to bring to the house of our God, unto the priests that minister in the house of our God. And that we should bring the first fruits of our dough and our offerings, and the fruit of all manner of trees, and wine and oil, unto the priests, unto the Levites, that the same Levites might have the tithes in all the cities of our tillage. That means that every city that produces food brings some to the priests so that they have it. Why do they need it? Because they have to eat. That's why. You understand, when a sacrifice takes place, God doesn't eat the meat. It's the act. It's the act of attrition. It's the obedience of doing the ritual that God takes. It's the smoke. It's the savor, the flavor. But the food goes to the priests and to the people after that. So everyone gets a meal. That's what it's for. It's not a wasteful thing. A lot of people think that. A lot of people think that sacrifice is awful wasteful. Look at all those calves and cows that they waste. They don't waste it. They eat every bit of it. And what they don't eat, they feed to the animals or throw it out. It gets used. And the priest, the son of Aaron, shall be with the Levites when the Levites take tithes. And the Levites shall bring up the tithe of the tithers unto the house of God, to the chambers, into the treasure house, to store it. So when people brings money, they're followed by a priest and the son of Aaron, and they take that into the treasury and they store it. So nobody's stealing it. It's part of the church. It stays in the church's treasury. When the church needs it, they go into the treasury and pull out what they need. But the tithes all go into that treasury to be accounted for, so that people don't think they're wasting their money. That's why. For the children of Israel and the children of Levi shall bring the offerings of corn and of new wine and oil unto the chambers where are the vessels of the sanctuary, and the priest that ministers, and the porters and the singers, and we will not forsake the house of our God. And the rulers of the people dwelt at Jerusalem. The rest of the people also cast lots, or pick a number, or draw straws, or whatever it is they do, to bring 1 of 10 to dwell in Jerusalem, the holy city, and 9 parts to dwell in other cities. So there's 1 person out of the 10 people that live in Jerusalem, and the other people spread out among the other cities. Why do they do that? Probably to get the word out and to make sure there's always people headed towards or keeping up with the rules of the temple. So if the temple makes a decree, all the cities find out about it because of the 10 people that live there spreading the news. It's just basic networking 101. And the people blessed all the men that willingly offered themselves to dwell at Jerusalem. Now these are the chief of the province that dwell in Jerusalem. But in the cities of Judah dwelt every one in his possession in their cities, to wit, Israel, the priests and the Levites and the Nethinims, and the children of Solomon's servants, all lived in different cities. And at Jerusalem dwelt certain of the children of Judah, and of the children of Benjamin, and of the children of Judah, Athaliah, the son of Uzziah, the son of Zachariah, the son of Amariah, the son of Shephatiah, the son of Mahalaleel, of the children of Perez, and Mashiach, the son of Baruch, the son of Kolhose, the son of Haziah, the son of Adiah, the son of Joiarib, the son of Zachariah, the son of Shiloni. All the sons of Perez that dwelt at Jerusalem were 468 valiant men. I mean, they had lots of energy. They were big time. And these are the sons of Benjamin: Salu, the son of Meshullam, the son of Joed, the son of Pediah, the son of Koliah, the son of Mashiach, the son of Ithiel, the son of Jesiah. After him, Gabai and Shalai, 928. And Joel, the son of Zichri, was their overseer. And Judah, son of Senua, was second over the city. He was the second in charge, number 2, as it were. Of the priests, Jediah, the son of Joiarib, Jachin. Jachin is one of those names of the pillars. There's Jachin and there's Boaz. Those are the 2 pillars, names that are in front of the Solomon's temple. Sariah, the son of Hilkiah, the son of Meshullam, the son of Zadok, which means peace, by the way, the son of Marioth, the son of Ahitub, was the ruler of the house of God. He was the big man in charge, Mr. Big, Mr. Bigwig. And their brethren that did the work of the house were 822. And Adiah, the son of Joraham, the son of Peliah, the son of Amzi, the son of Zachariah, the son of Pashur, the son of Malchiah, and his brethren, chief of the fathers, 242. And Amashai, the son of Azriel, the son of Ahasai, the son of Meshillamoth, the son of Immer, the son of, and their brethren, mighty men of valor, and 128. And their overseer was Zabdiel, the son of the great men, of one of the great men. Hey, there's Kevin Cox. What's up, buddy? Also of the Levites, Shemaiah, the son of Hashub, the son of Azrikam, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Buni, and Shabbathai, and Jozabad of the chief of the Levites had the oversight of outward business in the house of God. And Mattaniah, the son of Micah, the son of Zabdi, the son of Asaph, was the principal to begin the thanksgiving and prayer. And Bakbukiah, the second among his brethren, and Abda, the son of Shammua, he works at SeaWorld, the son of Galal, the son of Jeduthun. All the Levites in the holy city were 284. Moreover, the porters, Akub, Talman, and their brethren that kept the gates were 172. So that's a lot of folks keeping up the house of God. And the residue of Israel, the leftover, whoever wasn't named, of the priests and the Levites, were in all the cities of Judah, every one in his inheritance, meaning they each owned property in those places, and they all lived on their own lands. But the Nethinims dwelt in Ophel, and Zihah and Gispah were over the Nethinims. The overseer also of the Levites at Jerusalem was Uzi, the son of Bani, the son of Hashabiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micah, the son of Asaph. The singers were over the business of the house of God. For it was the king's commandment concerning them, that a certain portion should be for the singers, due for every day. They are gig workers, so it only stands to reason that if they're going to get out and play shows, they need to get paid. So a certain amount was set aside each day to pay the singers. You know, they get out there and jam for 4 hours, and you go out there and party and dance and listen. The least you can do is tip the singer. The singer needs to eat too. Amen. Amen. All right. So a certain portion was set aside for the singers due every day. And Pethahiah, the son of Meshezabeel, that's it, that's the one, Meshezabeel, of the children of Zariah, the son of Judah, was at the king's hand in all matters concerning the people. So he was right there by his side, talking in the king's ear concerning the people of all things. He was there. That's Pethahiah. He sounds annoying, doesn't he? For the villagers with their fields, some of the children of Judah dwelt at Kirjath Harbah, and in the villages thereof, at Dibion. Is that Dibon? Yep, Dibon. And in the villages thereof, at Jekabzeel, and in the villages thereof, and at Jeshua, and at Molada, and at Beth-Pelet, and at Hazar-Shual, and at Beersheba, and the villages thereof, and at Ziklag, and at Mechonah, and in the villages thereof, and at Enrimmon, and Zariah, and Jarmuth, Zanoah, Adullam, Oblongata. You stepped on my aorta, my Abdullah Oblongata. Yeehaw. And in their villages, and at Lachish, and the fields thereof, at Ezekah, and in the villages thereof, and they dwelt from Beersheba unto the valley of Hinnom. The children also of Benjamin from Geba dwelt at Michmash, and at Asia, at Bethel, and in their villages, and at Anathoth, Nob, Ananiah, Hazor, Ramah, Gittaim, Hadid, Zeboim, Nebalit, Lod, and Ono, the valley of the craftsmen. That's where all the hard workers lived, the blue-collar dudes. You might be a Jew if you live in a place that has too many consonants and not enough syllables. And of the Levites were divisions in Judah and in Benjamin. You have to understand that sometimes when they're using names, they're talking about places, and sometimes when they're talking about places, they're using names, or might be talking about those people who are named after the places who have names of people. Does that make sense? Are we good? Clear? Good. All right. Now, these are the priests and the Levites that went up with Jerubbaal, the son of Shealtiel, and Yeshua, Sariah, Jeremiah, Ezra, Amariah, Maluk, Hattush, Shechaniah, Rehum, Meremoth, Iddo, Genetho, Abijah, Maimon, Mediah, Bilgah, Shemaiah, Joyarib, Jediah, Salu, Amok. That's a Star Trek episode. Amok time. Hilkiah, Jedediah, These were the chief of the priests and of their brethren in the days of Jeshua. Moreover, the Levites, Jeshua, Binnui, Kadmiel, Sherebiah, Judah, Mattaniah, which was over the thanksgiving, he and his brethren. Also, Bakbukiah, Uni, their brethren, were over against them in the watches, meaning they stood in the towers and looked out over the field to make sure bad guys weren't coming. And Jeshua begat Joachim. Joachim also begat Eliashib. And Eliashib begat Joada. And Joada begat Jonathan. And Jonathan begat Jaddua. And in the days of Joachim were priests, the chief of the fathers, and Shariah, and Moriah, of Jeremiah, Hananiah, of Ezra, Meshullam, and Amariah, and Jehohanan, of Meliku, Jonathan, of Shabaniah, Joseph, of Harim, Adnah, of Marioth, Helkai, of Edo, Zachariah, of Ginnethon, Meshullam, of Abijah, Zikri, of Menamin, Moadiah, Piltai, of Bilgah, Shamua, who works at SeaWorld, of Shemaiah, Jehonathan, of Joarib, Mattanai, of Jediah, Uzi, of Salai, Kalai, of Amok, Eber, remember Eber, of Hilkiah, Hashabiah, of Jediah, Nathaniel. Whew. The Levites in the days of Eliashib, Joada, and Johanan, and Jaddua were recorded chief of the fathers, also the priests, to the reign of Darius the Persian. Darius was a Persian. He lived in Persia. The sons of Levi, the chief of the fathers, were written in the book of the Chronicles, even unto the days of Johanan, the son of Eliashib. And the chief of the Levites, Hashabiah, Sherebiah, and Yeshua, the sons of Kadmiel, with their brethren over against them, to praise and to give thanks according to the commandment of David, the man of God, ward over against ward. Mattaniah and Bakbukiah, Obadiah, Meshullam, Talman, Akub were porters, keeping the ward at the thresholds of the gates. What does that mean? That means they were not letting the wards come through the gates. They kept them at bay at the threshold of the gates. Stay there, wards. These were in the days of Joachim, the son of Jeshua, the son of Jozadak, which means peace from our father. Jo is a euphemism for L because they didn't have J's in Hebrew. So it's Yah or El or Yahweh or whatever you want to call it. Zadok means peace. So it's our father's peace. That's his name, literally, transliterated. And in the days of Nehemiah, hey, this book is called Nehemiah, the governor, and of Ezra. The last book was called Ezra, priest and scribe. Not only did he preach, he wrote. And on occasion, he preached what he wrote, or wrote what he preached. Either way. And at the dedication of the wall of Jerusalem, they sought the Levites out of all their places to bring them to Jerusalem to keep the dedication with gladness, both with thanksgivings and with singing, with cymbals and psalteries and harps. They were going to make a killer party. They might even have a pig picking. Heck yeah. And the sons of the singers gathered themselves together, both out of the plain country round about Jerusalem, and from the villages of Naphtali. Netophathi. Netophathi. Sorry, not Naphtali. Netophathi. Also from the house of Gilgal, out of the fields of Geba and Asmaveth. For the singers had builded them villages round about Jerusalem. And the priests and the Levites purified themselves and purified the people and the gates and the wall. It was a pure place, let me tell you. Then I brought up the princes of Judah, who? Nehemiah did. Then I brought up the princes of Judah upon the wall, and appointed 2 great companies of them that gave thanks, whereof one went on the right hand upon the wall towards the dung gate, and after them went Hoshea, the half of the princes of Judah, and Azariah, Ezra, and Meshullam, Judah and Benjamin, and Shemaiah and Jeremiah, the certain of the priests' sons, with trumpets, namely Zachariah the son of Jonathan, the son of Shemaiah, the son of Mattaniah, the son of Micaiah, the son of Zakur, the son of Asaph. Asaph seems to be the epicenter of all the people who do singing or play trumpets or psalteries or harps or cymbals. They all come from Asaph, which all comes from Jubal. Anybody? Can I get an amen? Jubal is the father of all musical things. And his brethren, Shemaiah and Azriel, who is a cat on the Smurfs, Malali, Galali, Mai, Nathaniel, and Judah, Hanani, with the musical instruments of David, the man of God. That's guitar, by the way. And Ezra, the scribe, before them. They were jamming out with guitars and cymbals and harps and singers and psalteries. I mean, they had a full-on rock band going on. Hey, April. At the fountain gate, which was over against them. They went up by the stairs of the city of David. The stairs, by the way, are still there to this day. Nothing else is there. They go up to nothing, but there are stairs there. Of the city of David, at the going up of the wall, above the house of David, even unto the water gate eastward. And the other company of them that gave thanks went over against them, and I after them. And the half of the people upon the wall, from beyond the tower of the furnaces, even unto the broad wall, or the big wall, or the western wall, or the wailing wall, whatever you want to call it. And from above the gate of Ephraim, or Ephraim, depending on what you say, and above the old gate, and above the fish gate, and the tower of Hananiel, and the tower of Meh. I guess that tower wasn't very impressive. You got Mananiel over here, and you got Meh over here. Meh. What are we going to call that tower? Meh. Oh, so be it. Meh, it is. Even unto the sheep gate. And they stood still in the prison gate. So stood the 2 companies of them that gave thanks in the house of God, and I, and the half of the rulers with me, and the priests, Eliakim, Mashiach, Menamin, Micaiah, Elonai, Zachariah, or Elionai, however you want to say that, Elionai, Hananiah, with trumpets, and Mashiach, and Shemaiah, and Eleazar, and Uzi, and Jehohanan, Malchijah, and Elam, and Ezer. And the singers sang loud, because they didn't have microphones in those days. Sure wasn't a company yet. So they had to sing very loud. With Jeriziah, their overseer. He was the guy doing this. Sing louder, sing louder. Also that day they offered great sacrifices and rejoiced, for God had made them rejoice with a great joy. The wives also and the children rejoiced, so that the joy of Jerusalem was heard even afar off. And at that time were some appointed over the chambers for treasuries, for the offerings, for the firstfruits, and for the tithes, to gather into them out of the fields of the cities the portions of the law for the priests and the Levites. For Judah rejoiced for the priests and for the Levites that waited. And both the singers and the porters kept the ward of their God and the ward of the purification, according to the commandment of David and of Solomon his son. For in the days of David and Asaph of old, there were chief of the singers, and songs of praise and thanksgiving unto God. And all Israel in the days of Zerubbabel, and in the days of Nehemiah, that's who wrote the book, gave the portions of the singers and the porters every day his portion, and they sanctified holy things unto the Levites, and the Levites sanctified them unto the children of Aaron. And on that day they read in the book of Moses in the audience of the people, and therein was found written that the Ammonite and the Moabite should not come into the congregation of God forever. They don't belong there. They're not welcome there. They should not come in. Because they met not the children of Israel with bread and with water, but hired Balaam against them, that he should curse them. Howbeit, our God turned the curse into a blessing. Do you remember that? Remember when they had come up out of Egypt and they were moving about their merry way? And they were coming to the promised land, but they had to go through several other countries to get there. And when they would come to a country, that country would turn them out. No, you can't come through here. Well, we just want to walk by. We're not going to bother anybody. We just want to walk through. Nope, can't do it. Go around. And so they'd go around, and they walked a long way on down by the coast. And they'd come to another country and say, can we walk through? We won't bother anybody. We just need to get through to the other side. Nope, go around. Well, those people that said no, go around, and would not let them come through were the Ammonites and the Moabites. And then one of them hired Balaam to attack them when they came to his town. Instead of letting them come through, they were to attack them. But God turned that into a curse, and Balaam ended up joining them. Remember that story? That's why they're not allowed into the house of God forever, because of that. They chose to turn them away, so God turned them away. What's good for the goose is good for the gander. It's kind of fair. Now it came to pass, when they had heard the law, that they separated from Israel and all the mixed multitude. And before this, Eliashib the priest, having the oversight of the chamber of the house of God, was allied unto Tobiah, and he had prepared for him a great chamber, where aforetime they laid the meat offerings, the frankincense, and the vessels, and the tithes of the corn, and the new wine, and the oil, which was commanded to be given to the Levites, and the singers, and the porters, and the offerings of the priests. Sounds to me like he was trying to set himself up to get a little payola, you know what I'm saying? Not going to work out in his favor, though, I promise. But in all this time was not I at Jerusalem. I never came there. For in the 32 years of Artaxerxes, or King Xerxes, king of Babylon, came I unto the king, and after certain days obtained I leave of the king. And I came to Jerusalem, and understood of the evil that Eliashib did for Tobiah, in preparing him a chamber in the courts of the house of God. He ain't supposed to be there, you see. And it grieved me sore Therefore I cast forth all the household. Therefore I cast all the household stuff to Tobiah out of the chamber. Took everything he had and threw it out. I was mad, let me tell you. Then I commanded, and they cleansed the chambers. Wiped the filth of him off the walls. Get him out of there. And thither brought I again the vessels of the house of God. And thither I brought them again. Once more I brought the vessels back into the house of God. Thither. That's a weird word. With the meat offering and the frankincense. Thither, by the way, could either mean once again or over there. You could either go thither or thither. We could do this thing we were doing before. And I perceived that the portions of the Levites had not been given them, for the Levites and the singers that did the work were fled everyone to his field. They didn't get paid yet. Then I contented I with the rulers and said, why is the house of God forsaken? And I gathered them together and set them in their place. I put them all in their place. Then brought all Judah the tithe of the corn and the new wine and the oil unto the treasuries. And I made treasurers over the treasuries, Shelemiah the priest and Zadok the scribe, Zadok meaning peace, and of the Levites, Pedaiah, and next to them was Hanan, the son of Zakur, the son of Mattaniah, for they were counted faithful. These guys I trust. I count them to be faithful. And their office was to distribute unto their brethren. That's their job. That's what they meant to do. That they take in the tithes and then distribute out the payments as required. And do it faithfully without cheating the house. Remember me, O my God, concerning this, and wipe not out my good deeds that I have done for the house of my God, and for the offices thereof. Let's see if I skipped something here. Nope. And in those days saw I in Judah some treading wine presses on the Sabbath, and bringing in sheaves, and lading asses, and also wine, grapes, and figs, and all manner of burdens, which they brought into Jerusalem on the Sabbath day. Let me rephrase that in English. When I got there, I saw a lot of people working on the Sabbath day. They're not supposed to be working, but they're working. And I testified against them in the day wherein they sold victuals. Victuals means drinks or food. There dwelt men of Tyre also therein, which brought fish and all manner of ware, and sold on the Sabbath unto the children of Judah and in Jerusalem. They had flea markets going on the Sabbath day. You're not supposed to work on the Sabbath day. You're supposed to rest. If you're Jewish, you're not supposed to even touch anything that could cause anything to work. You're not even supposed to flick a light on by yourself. That's why they have a certain person that does that stuff for them on the Sabbaths. They have a name, but I can't think of it. It's in that commercial with Sarah Silverman and stoned retard Seth Rogen. There's a white guy in there that is doing everything for Sarah Silverman, and she calls him a certain name. I believe it's something goy or something like that. It basically means servant, because they're not allowed to do any work on the Sabbath day or on a holy day because they're Jewish. You understand? So when he got there, Nehemiah, when he got to Jerusalem, he noticed that not only were people working and all manner of burdens and wine drinking and cutting down the figs and grapes and making wine and pressing and bringing in sheaves, which is like cutting limbs of grapes and pulling them into the house and stacking them up. And also there were men from Tyre selling things and people buying things on the Sabbath day. You're not supposed to do that. So, then I contented or had conversations with the nobles of Judah, and said unto them, What evil thing is this that ye do, and profane the Sabbath day? What is this? Why are you doing this? You're making a mockery of the Sabbath day. Did not your fathers thus? And did not our God bring all this evil upon us and upon this city? Yet ye bring more wrath upon Israel by profaning the Sabbath. Do you not remember all the torture we went through and all the being imprisoned and being a slave? Do you not remember being without a home? That's because you're wicked. And now you're profaning the Sabbath day. Do you not ever learn? Well, I love April too, and thank you for being here. You don't have to worry about being late, just as long as you're here. That's all that matters. And it came to pass that when the gates of Jerusalem began to be dark before the Sabbath, I commanded that the gates should be shut, and charged that they should not be opened till after the Sabbath. And some of my servants set I at the gate, that there should no burden be brought in on the Sabbath day. Not one donkey full of material should be brought into this gate. Not one truckload of goods could come into this city. It's kind of like right now in the news, the truckers are going around Colorado. They refuse to go into Colorado because in Colorado, a truck driver had a malfunction and his brakes went out and he hit a car and the person in the car died. And then they sentenced the man in the truck for 110 years to life in prison for vehicular manslaughter of the first offense for something he could not control. And so now all the truckers are boycotting Colorado, saying, we're not going to go in until you let that man go. He didn't do anything wrong. Well, they're going to win because they'll bring Colorado to his knees if no trucks can come in. If no deliveries get made, no city can function. So, good luck to those guys. We stand in solidarity. I have truck drivers in my family. I'm with you, brothers. Stand strong and get that man out of jail. Anyway, that's kind of what's going on here. He has shut the gates and not allowing anybody to come in until after the Sabbath day. I will show you one way or another you're not supposed to work on the Sabbath day. So the merchants and sellers of all kinds of wares lodged outside of Jerusalem once or twice. Yeah, I bet they did. Then I testified against them and said unto them, Why lodge ye about the wall? If ye do so again, I will lay hands on you. From that time forth came they no more on the Sabbath. Apparently Nehemiah was a big dude because that scared them away. He said, if you come out and lodge at the wall again, waiting for me to open the gates, I'm going to come out and whip your tail. I better not catch you out there again. And they didn't come back. Smart move. I think Nehemiah would have whipped that tail. And I commanded the Levites that they should cleanse themselves and that they should come and keep the gates to sanctify the Sabbath day. Remember me, O my God, concerning this also, and spare me according to the greatness of thy mercies. And in those days also saw I Jews that had married wives of Ashdod and of Ammon and of Moab. Remember what we started talking about in Ezra? Talking about marrying strange wives, foreign wives, and bringing in false gods into your family? He found Jews that had done so. Just as soon as he got to Jerusalem, the first thing he saw was people working on the Sabbath day. The second thing he saw was false wives. Wonder how long it's going to take him to straighten these people up. Brandis, you're out of here. Give me a moment. I must deal with person writing strange nonsense in my chat room. I have a moderator for this thing, but my moderator is not here. Go figure. I guess I'm going to have to get me another moderator. All right. Back to it. And their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. Not only did they marry strange wives, yes, that was a bot, but they had children that could not even speak the Hebrew language. Explain to me how you're going to learn the laws of Moses in a land that speaks Hebrew if you cannot speak Hebrew. Would you say that that's doing something bad to the children, keeping them from being capable of learning the law of Moses if you're a Jew and have to live under the law of Moses? Pick you? By the power vested in me of the great state of North Carolina and the internet greater Chicago area, I dub thee Moderator, if I can make it happen. Kneel. With this cigarette of valor, I knight thee, Sir Moderator. Stand and do the bidding of this channel with great valor and vigor. Use all your honor and integrity, and allow no one to curse or to write strange things on the walls. Uphold the laws and rituals and rites and regulations of said chat, and be of good courage and cheer, and above all, love the Lord your God, and thy feed Jake. Say something. Say something. Anything. Write something so that I can see if the wrench took. What does it mean to be a moderator? All right. Should you accept the responsibility of this job, that means that you must be here for every podcast. And you must pay attention to the chat. I'll try again. There should be a wrench by your name. All right. Now say something. You have been added. You got to be here. You got to pay attention to the chat. And you got to observe the rules and make sure that everybody follows them. And in some cases, you must answer for me. Like if somebody asks me for a link, or if I say something that involves a link, you can write the link out for me so I don't have to think about it. Or, whatever. There you go. Whose name? What do you mean, whose name? Your name. Thou hast been wrenched. You are now a wrench of Jake. The right hand of Jake. I do not give out wrenches free and willy-nilly. They're very sparing. To date, only 2 people have them, you and my original moderator. And it'll stay that way as long as you do your job. I don't need to give out a whole bunch of wrenches. They should mean something. They should have value. That's why you have one. You have been a worthy and good friend and partner to the channel. You have supported me when no one else would. No one else could. No one else did. You were there. Therefore, I bequeath to you the power of the chat. You can do everything I can do now. That includes the ban hammer. So from this day forward, if I say, you're out of here, then you know what to do. Click the 3 little dots by the person's name and click remove or time out if you don't think they committed a great offense and you think they can redeem themselves. Time them out. But if it's a bot, they're not going to be redeemable. They're not real people. So just go ahead and kick them out. If it's a person, say they say a cuss word or something like that, or they say something dirty, you can time them out for 15 seconds or whatever. Go through the little dots and see what all they do and, whatever. Play with it, learn. That also gives you some freedom in stream elements. If you go to that little link there, it might allow you to do certain things there too. I don't know. But you got it. You are the man or woman. In those days also, I saw Jews that had married wives of Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab, and their children spake half in the speech of Ashdod, and could not speak in the Jews' language, but according to the language of each people. And I contented or had conversations with them, and cursed them, and smote certain of them. I punched a couple of them in the eye, and plucked off their hair, and made them swear by God, saying, Ye shall not give your daughters unto their sons, nor take their daughters unto your sons, or for yourselves, you perverts. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin by these things? Yet among many nations were there no king like him, who was beloved of his God, and made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, even him did outlandish women cause to sin. Women of the outside lands, outlandish, which is where that word comes from. And it caused him to sin, and it will cause you to sin because you were not better than Solomon was. Shall we then hearken unto you to do all this great evil, to transgress against our God in marrying strange wives? And one of the sons of Joiada, the son of Eliashib, the high priest, was son-in-law to Sanballat, the Horonite. Therefore I chased him from me. Hey, 420. You are out of the hospital. Congratulations and God bless. Hallelujah. You are welcome for the prayers. I'm glad you made it. Remember them, O my God, because they have defiled the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and of the Levites. Thus cleansed I them from all strangers, and appointed the wards of the priests and the Levites, every one in his business, and for the wood offerings, and time appointed, and for the first fruits, remember me, oh my God, for good. I think he will, Nehemiah. I think he will. Now we have entered into the great book of Esther. We have left the book of Nehemiah. Remember, Nehemiah, oh my God. Now it came to pass in the days of Ahasuerus. Ahasuerus? Ahasuerus. Ahasuerus. This is Ahasuerus, which reigned from India even to Ethiopia, over 107 and 20 provinces, that in those days when the king Ahasuerus sat on the throne of his kingdom, which was in Shushan. Not Shushan, Shushan. That's Shushan, past tense. Shushan. The palace. In the 3rd year of his reign, he made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media. Not Media as we know it, Media as they know it. He made a feast unto all his princes and his servants, the power of Persia and Media, the nobles and princes of the provinces being before him, when he showed the riches of his glorious kingdom and the honor of his excellent majesty many days, even 180 days. That's 180 days. And when these days were expired, the king made a feast unto all the people that were present at Shushan, the palace. That's Shushan, past tense. Not really. Both unto great and small, 7 days in the court of the garden of the king's palace, where were white, green, and blue hangings, fastened with cords of fine linen and purple to silver rings and pillars of marble. The beds were of gold and silver, upon the pavement of red and blue and white and black marble. I mean, this was a fancy, fancy place. All the colors. And they gave them drink in vessels of gold, the vessels being diverse, one from another. They were all different. They were not like cookie cutters, all the same cups. They were all different, ornate, hand-carved or hand-beaten gold, and royal wine in abundance according to the state of the king. And the drinking was according to the law. None did compel. You could drink if you wanted to. You weren't forced to. It was legal. You could drink. For so the king had appointed to all the officers of his house, that they should do according to every man's pleasure. Do what thou wilt. You know where else you can find that phrase? In the Necronomicon. This is the teaching of the devil. Do what thou wilt. This is the root of evil. Evil. So bad that you have to say it with an accent. Evil. Like the fruits of the devil. It's evil. That's how evil it is. Do what thou wilt. You are not supposed to be hedonistic. You are not supposed to be a man after your own flesh. You are supposed to tarry in this world. You are not of it. You're in it, but not of it. You have but to wait. That's all you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to partake, because this world is fallen. It's evil. It's bad for you. But do what thou wilt. Do every man according to his pleasure. Also, Vashti the queen made a feast for every woman in the royal house, which belonged to King Ahasuerus. On the 7th day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, which means he was drunk, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbona, Bigtha, and Abagatha, Abagtha, Zethar, and Carcas, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus, the king, to bring Vashti the queen. Bring that woman over here before the king with the crown royal. This is where we got the alcohol from. To show the people and the princes her beauty, for she was fair to look on. Hey, look at my wife. Ain't she pretty? That's the queen. I'm the king. She's pretty. I'm drunk. It's on. But the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. Therefore the king was very wroth, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's manner towards all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshena, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Maris, Marsina, Mimicon, the 7 princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face. They knew he was hot. They could see it on his face, which sat the first of the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to law, because she hath not performed the commandment of the king Ahasuerus by the chamberlains? And Mimicon answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only, but also to all the princes and to all the people that are in the provinces of the king Ahasuerus. She refused to show everybody her hotness. We must kill her. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. If we let her get away with this, before too long, women are going to be disobeying their husbands all over the place. We can't have that. There shall not be a woman in this land disobey her husband. We're going to have to make an example of this, ladies. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen, thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. There'll be bitches everywhere. We can't allow this. We can't make it. If it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus, and let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. We shall replace thine hotness with even a younger hottie. You don't want to come when I call? There's a whole line of young hotties right over here that'll come every time I call. Be gone with you, bitch. This is what's going on. I didn't write it. I was off the Bible study for some time, says Diego. Why would you be off the Bible study? It's fascinating. Do you hear what I'm reading? I didn't write this. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all his empire, for it is great. All the wives shall give their husbands honor, both great and small. There will be no disobedience in this land. All women must obey. All women must obey. And the saying pleased the king. Of course it did. And the princes. Of course it did. And the king did according to the word of Memucan. For he sent letters into all the king's provinces, into every province according to the writing thereof, and to every people after their language. He not only wrote it, he wrote it in everybody's language, that every man should bear rule in his own house, and that it should be published according to the language of every people. Now listen here. I do agree that a woman should obey her husband. That being said, a husband should also obey his wife. And a woman should not follow a fool. If your husband is issuing foolish decrees, you should not follow that moron. You should get away from him. If he beats you up or if he mistreats you, you should not take it. You should get away as fast as you can. Yes, you should be obedient to your husband. Yes, it is law according to God that it is God, man, woman, child. That is the hierarchy. That being said, a man cannot function in this world without his woman. Therefore, men, you put that woman on a pedestal and you treat her like a queen. You do not mistreat her. You do not abuse her. You do not give her foolish commandments. And she will gladly obey you because that's what's in her nature to do. She wants to follow a man, not a child, not a fool, not a drunkard, but a man of God. Put her first, and she'll follow you everywhere. But she comes first. This is not what this king is doing. This is a bad man. Don't learn a thing from this man. After these things, when the wrath of King Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done and what decreed against her. I bet he missed her too. I bet none of those young hotties could do it like she could. It's your own fault, King Ahasuerus. 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 Forget it. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, Let there be fair young virgins sought for the king, and let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of his kingdom, that they may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan, the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Haggai, the king's chamberlain. He's going to have a parade of young hot virgins. Haggai, the chamberlain, keepers of the women, and let their things be purified. Let their things for purification be given them. And let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. And the thing pleased the king, and he did so. Now, in Shushan the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite, who had been carried away from Jerusalem with the captivity, which had been carried away with Jeconiah, king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, that is, Esther, his uncle's daughter. Her name was Hot Asta. She was a hot Asta girl. Hadassah. 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 That's her name. You think names don't have meanings? Esther, his uncle's daughter, for she had neither father nor mother. Really? And the maid was fair and beautiful, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. I bet he did. So it came to pass, when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to custody of Haggai, or Hag, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Hag, keeper of the women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her things for purification, which such things as belonged to her, and 7 maidens, which were meat to be given or helpful to be given. Out of the king's house. So he gave her trinkets and toys and whatever was helpful to her to survive. Just stuff. Things, he's trying to buy her affections, really. And he preferred her and her maids unto the best place of the house of the women. So she's on the short list, basically. She is the hottest of them all, or the fairest of them all. Esther, young and red-headed and perky. Esther had not showed her people nor her kindred, for Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. And Mordecai walked every day before the court of the women's house to know how Esther did and what should become of her. He's checking up on her. He's making sure he's going to get her in there. He's like a stage mother. He's over there pushing her towards the king. She's just a young girl and a virgin. She can do better, but he is a king. So, how much better, really? Now, when every maid's turn was come to go into the king Ahasuerus, after that she had been 12 months according to the manner of the women, for so were the days of their purifications accomplished, to wit, 6 months with oil of myrrh, 6 months with sweet odors, and with other things for the purifying of the women. And hear their lamentations, and see your enemies driven from before you. This is Conan the Barbarian. Then thus came every maiden unto the king, whatsoever she desired was given to her, to go with her out of the house of the women unto the king's house. In the evening she went, and on the morrow she returned in the second house of the women. What do you think's happening over there? To the custody of Shashgaz, the king's chamberlain, from Haggai to Shashgaz, which kept the concubines. Oh, now they're concubines. They were maidens when they were with Haggai after they spent the night with the king and went to Shashgaz. Now they're concubines. Do you have any idea what's going on in this room? I think you do. She came in unto the king no more, except the king delighted in her. He thought she was a beauty, and that she were called by name. So she's a concubine that got a name. Take that, sexism. Down with the patriarchy. Now, when the turn of Esther, the daughter of Abihail, the uncle of Mordecai, who had taken her for his daughter, was come to go in unto the king, she required nothing but what Haggai, the king's chamberlain, the keeper of the women, appointed. And Esther obtained favor in the sight of all them that looked upon her, because she was gorgeous. So Esther was taken unto the king Ahasuerus into the house royal in the 10th month, which is the month of Tebeth, in the 7th year of his reign. And the king loved Esther above all the women, and she obtained grace and favor in his sight more than all the virgins, so that he set the royal crown upon her head and made her queen instead of Vashti. What is a concubine? Modern translation, hooker. And if you're from, the Bronx, she's a whore. A concubine is a woman that a man keeps that is not his wife. And in those days, you had a wife or a couple of wives, and then you had concubines, who their express purpose was having babies or helping other women that you bed have babies. That's what a concubine is. I don't have to be so graphic. I wasn't being graphic. She is a whore. I'm just telling you, I'm answering your question. You asked me what a concubine was. That's what a concubine is. And now she's one. And the king loved her because she was perky. And he put the crown upon her head, and made her queen instead of Vashti. Then the king made a great feast unto all the princes and his servants, even Esther's feast. And he made a release to the provinces, and gave gifts according to the state of the king. You're April's concubine? I think you have to be a woman to be a concubine, but okay. And when the virgins were gathered together the second time, then Mordecai sat in the king's gate. Esther had not yet showed her kindred, nor her people, as Mordecai had charged her. Keep it a secret, lady. Don't let everybody be asking for a handout. For Esther did the commandment of Mordecai, like as when she was brought up with him. Like a good daughter should, she did what he told her to do. In those days, while Mordecai sat in the king's gate, two of the king's chamberlains, Bigthan and Teresh, of those which kept the door, were wroth, and sought to lay hands on the king Ahasuerus. And the thing was known to Mordecai, who told it to Esther the queen, and Esther certified the king thereof in Mordecai's name. In other words, he told on those two guys that they were going to attack the king, and Esther went through and told him, so he knew, and now he can prevent said attacking. Thank you, Mordecai. And when the inquisition was made of the matter, it was found out. Therefore they were both hanged on a tree. And it was written in the book of the Chronicles before the king. After these things did King Ahasuerus promote Haman, the son of Hammedatha, the Agagite, and advanced him, and set his seat above all the princes that were with him. So this Hammedatha, the Agagite, was made head prince over all the other princes. I guess because he was the man, Haman, that was his name. He was the man that solved the problem. And all the king's servants that were in the king's gate bowed and reverenced Haman, for the king had so commanded concerning him. But Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence. I'm the guy that solved the problem, not you. I'm not bowing to you. Then the king's servants, which were in the king's gate, said unto Mordecai, Why transgressest thou the king's commandment? Now it came to pass, when they spake daily unto him, he hearkened not. I'm not bowing to that dude, I'm sorry. That they told Haman to see whether Mordecai's matters would stand, for he had told them that he was a Jew, and Jews don't bow to nobody but God. And when Haman saw that Mordecai bowed not, nor did him reverence, then was Haman full of wrath. And he thought scorn to lay hands on Mordecai alone, for they had showed him the people of Mordecai. Wherefore Haman sought to destroy all the Jews that were throughout the whole kingdom of Ahasuerus, even the people of Mordecai, in the first month, that is, the month Nisan, in the 12th year of the king Ahasuerus. They cast pur, that is, the lot, before Haman from day to day, and from month to month, to the 12th month, that is, the month Adar. Now, what does that mean? It means they drew straws or picked numbers or whatever. It's Squatchless Monday and also Bourbon Monday. Yes. I don't know where Sasquatch is. And Haman said unto King Ahasuerus, There is a certain people scattered abroad and dispersed among the people in all the provinces of thy kingdom, and their laws are diverse from all people. Neither keep they the king's laws. Therefore it is not for the king's profit to suffer them. If it please the king, let it be written that they may be destroyed, and I will pay 10,000 talents of silver to the hands of those that have the charge of the business, to bring it into the king's treasuries. I'll pay good money for somebody to kill those Jews. See, even back then, the Jews were hated among the people. They have been kicked out to date of 209 countries have kicked the Jews out completely. Out. You have worried us too much. Take your porn and your pills and your psychoanalysis somewhere else. It's true. I didn't make that up, but it is true. Even back then, they were being kicked out of places and destroyed. They have always been persecuted because they are a peculiar people. They were meant to be different than everybody else, and they were also meant to bow to no one except God. And that's what they do. And these people don't like it very much. And that's where we're going to leave off for today. We will pick up in 310, the great book of Esther, on Sunday. I hope you learned a lot from this. I hope it lifted your spirits and galvanized your heart and your way of thinking and brought you closer to God. I wish that for all of you. If it pleased the court, leave a comment. Let me know what you're thinking about. There. Got that done. Won't you please take a moment and hit that subscribe button and press the bell icon so you get notifications of when I'm going to be here. Smash that like button. Smash it hard. Smash it once. It's free. It costs no effort. Just hit that button. We need the numbers. Share this video with somebody you love. Better yet, share it with somebody you don't love. Bring them into the family. Make them part of the fold. Be part of their solutions, not part of their problems. Leave a comment down below and let me know what you're thinking about. Question me, curse me, bless me, challenge me, confront me, conform with me, drink my Kool-Aid, drink your own Kool-Aid. As long as you're thinking critically, that's what I want. Clear thought coming from that brain of yours. And if you can see the value in what I'm trying to create, and if you love the Word of God and you want to be part of something special, or if you feel led to send your tithes, offerings, or love offerings, or if you just like to buy me a cup of coffee and say, hey, good job, Jake, won't you please take a moment and go to paypal.me/JakeJohnsonBand and feed Jake. Every little bit helps. It's a win-win. It's a blessing for me. It's a blessing for you too, because you know what? God notices those kind of things. So I greatly appreciate your support and your patronage, and I will round up this video by taking your questions and comments for the remainder. Thank you, and I hope you had a good time tonight. Did you learn anything? Did you feel good? Do you feel bad? Do you feel enlightened? Do you feel depressed? Let me know what's on your mind. I'm listening. Good job, Jake. I enjoyed today's show. Thank you, sir. I did too. I don't know why I'm talking like a 1920s newscaster, but for some reason I'm in that mood today. Amen, Jake. Awesome. Love you. Love, thank you. Love, thank you too. Or love, you're welcome you. I learned a lot, says Diego. Great read. Thank you, sir. The Holocaust is a tragic example of the persecution they suffered. Yes, sir, but it's only one of them. They've been going through this for centuries. That's the thing a lot of people don't understand. Another thing they don't understand is that a couple of months before the Holocaust, 2 cruise liners full of Jews came to the coast of America just off of New York, and they were turned away. Hitler said, you take them. I don't want to deal with them. And we turned them away. You're not bringing them into this country, sir. Take them back. Then the Holocaust happened. That's what they don't teach you in Sunday school or grade school or whatever school you get it from. It's the truth, though. Look it up. Hey, we got no sports update tonight. Psych. Ezra and Nehemiah originally were just one book. We Christians separated these books into 2. Well, I don't know if that's true or not, but either way, we have 2 now. And they're both part of one, so naturally it's one big book with a bunch of different little names. Hit that like button and feed Jake, says April. Thank you, dear. Here, do this.
Feed Jake, now I lay me down to sleep. Pray the Lord my soul to keep. If I die
Jake.
my best
I've been a good doggy.
right through it all.
Kibbles and bits and bits and bits.
If I die before I wake,
Jake. All right, thank you very much. You learned a new word. Which one was that? Concubine? Good night, all. Thanks. I enjoyed it. Thank you, Kevin. Good night, sir. Many Jews today still have several books in Scripture as one. We Christians have separated them. You're welcome, love. Thank you. I learned, says 420. Well, you know what? I learned too. Every day I learn. I am glad you guys had a good time, though. I try to make it as enlightening as I possibly can and fun. Sometimes I get a little carried away, but you know. Say it loud and say it proud, says April. Feed Jake. Say it like you mean it. If you see, Jews consider Genesis, Exodus, Numbers, and Deuteronomy, the Pentateuch, to be just one book. Well, if you add another one to that, they also consider that one the Septuagint. They're all mishmash. You've got the books of the law, and then you've got the books of grace, and then you've got the books of salvation. That's just the way it is. And in the middle, you got the books of the good news. Spread it. That is great. Always have fun here. Excellent. Every single Jew accepts the Pentateuch. Well, not every single Jew. A lot of Jews that claim to be Jews aren't even real Jews. And they don't accept any kind of Christianity or Judaism. In fact, they're atheists. Problem is the Jews that are in this country, the ones with the squiggly hair and the funny hats, they're not real Jews. The ones that we know of today. You got to understand something. The Jews of the tribe of Judah are hidden at the moment. They're not real Jews, the ones that we call Jews today. They're of the 12 tribes, but they're not of the tribe of Judah. Why that is unbeknownst to us at the moment, but soon will be knownst to us at some point. I am proud of you, Diego. You're going to be a great teacher or important leader. I feel it. Or a serial killer. But I'm banking on teacher. If I have anything to do with it, that's what he'll do. He's got it in him to be a good teacher. April says, by the way, 420, where are you from and how old are you? I was just wondering. I'd kind of like to know myself. Of course, that is privileged information. You can give it if you like. You don't have to if you don't want to. I'm working on a nickname for Diego. Oh, no. Make it good. I'm working on getting sleepy because I got to go into work early in the morning. I might not even watch the news tonight. The Sadducees, at the time of Christ, for example, only accepted the Pentateuch as inspired scripture and rejected the prophets and historical books as well as the Psalms. Their canon was very small. Well, actually, they read the Torah, not the Pentateuch. You need to look into the many, many, many different books of the Jews. They've got a lot of books. And that, I smell bullcrap, because they got books that contradict other books and books that prop up other books. And on and on. The Torah is only one of them. They got several other books too. You just need one book. That's the Bible. If you got that many books, your religion is too complicated. El Fuente, because he is on fire for God. Shouldn't that be Dios Fuente? I don't know Spanish, so you tell me. Fuente means fountain. I think you're thinking of fuego. I think that's the word for fire. Yeah, Fuentes. Yeah, I get that it's plural. 420 says, I'm from Modesto, California, and I'm a 44. I feel for you, brother. I wouldn't want to be in California right now. Fuego. Yep, that's right. I was right. See, I'm right, you're wrong. Nah. Dios Fuego. Shouldn't that be God's fire? How do you say God's fire, Diego? The word for fire is fuego. See? El Fuego is the new nickname then. My man, Jake, he knows. Diego, how do you say God's fire? Is that Dios Fuego? Or is it the other way around? There it is. El Fuego de Dios. I knew Dios was in there somewhere. That's the new nickname. Well, there it is, April. El Fuego de Dios. Mi papito es mucho grande. That's the only Spanish I know. I don't either. You don't want to be in California either? I hear you. Well, there's a room in Texas, buddy. Everybody seems to be going that way. If you get a chance, get the hell out of there, because that place is going to be bad news in the coming years. Do I know what I said? Mi papito es mucho grande? Yes. He gets it from his dad. California is bad. My sister's father lives in California, in Corona of all places. And he's constantly wanting me to come up there to visit because he plays guitar also. And I'm like, nope. There's nothing in California that excites me at all. By Sacramento and Stockton is where he lives, in Modesto. Modesto, that's near the coast, isn't it? I don't know much about California. Really, I only know the areas around LA and what they call Hollywood, which is really like Van Nuys and a couple other places. There really is no Hollywood. There might be, but it's not Hollywood as we know it. Have you heard about the artificial intelligence running Walmart? Have y'all heard of that yet? Well, I have not. So Ezra was scribe and priest, by the way. He was just not just a scribe, but also a priest. And Nehemiah was a governor, yes? Did I get that right? Yes. And they were contemporaries, both playing an important role in the return of the Jews from exile and the reconstruction of the temple. Well, they didn't have anything to do with the Jews, but they were involved in the reconstruction of the temple, yes. Kevin says, by the way, we watched American Homestead podcast, and Zach spoke of how Walmart is using AI in the stores. They get your face on camera and then do a check on you and get all your background info. Well, that's terrible. Sacramento is where my best friend Stephanie lives, says April. I've never been in my life, and you ain't missing nothing. Promise. Years ago, California was the place you ought to be. It was the land of fun and sun. It was Florida 2.0. It is not that way anymore. Now it's mostly just needles and human shit everywhere. It's 2 hours away from the coast, San Francisco. Gotcha. So it's nowhere near the coast then. I had that completely wrong. I'm getting ready to do a video about artificial intelligence where I'm going to give it what they call a Turing test, which is to see if it's actually thinking or not. Except it's going to be my own little special brand of Turing test. I'm going to try to piss it off. But I did not know that Walmart was using artificial intelligence to track people. That's not a good thing, and that's a invasion of privacy. You should be able to draw a lawsuit against Walmart for doing such a thing. They have no right to look into your background without your permission. Haggai and Zachariah are a couple of the prophets that appear in those books, yes. .420 says, true, so true. Oh, and tent cities, lots of those. And you know, in some places, they've got the plague coming back in California because of all the homelessness, all the human feces everywhere. They've actually had like 4 or 5 recorded cases of it. I say it's getting ready to be real bad in California, like unfixable. Like they might have to burn the place down and start over. I don't know. I don't know if there's any hope for it. I was really hoping that they would overturn that governor and get the new guy in. That black guy, I can't remember his name right now, but he seemed like he had his head on right. Radio guy, you know what I'm talking about. Anyway, he was supposed to, they were supposed to overturn the governor's seat and re-elect a new guy. And they pulled their magic disappearing votes trick, the same trick that got Biden in office, and did away with that. So he didn't stand a chance. I knew that when they started talking about it, but I was really hoping he'd get in because there needs to be a change in California, and it needs to be now. I can't think of that guy's name to save my life, but he's a radio DJ, black guy, really smart dude. I don't know if he'd be a good governor or not, but he seems to be a good Republican for sure. He seems to know what he's talking about, and he believes in God, and he wants to do right for the country. Rent is $2,000 or more a month. That's crazy, and that's for a tiny place, ain't it? No yard. In some places, yeah. I know all the prices are pretty high there, and also y'all got like crazy land taxes and stuff too, don't you? I think y'all have the highest taxes in the nation. And the most. We got a lot of red tape. The reason you get so many forest fires there is because they don't believe in cleaning the forest floor because of conservation. They're worried about some speckled owl or something, some sea turtle that might lose a home, but because they will not clean the forest floor, all that debris builds up over time, and next thing you know, Bob's your uncle, you got a forest fire. They don't have that stuff everywhere else because we clean the forest floor. There is a right way to do that, and they're not doing it. And that's all right. Go have another $2,000 plate of food at that fancy restaurant with your buddies, not wearing masks. Nobody cares. Not you, I'm talking about your governor. All right, boys and girls, I have thoroughly enjoyed the night and the conversation that goes along with it. I hope you guys have had as much fun as I have. Take a moment, won't you please, tomorrow. Just take a minute and be kind to somebody and watch it change your life. Just watch. All it takes is love. A little love goes a long way. Use it. It's there. Treat your neighbor as your friend. Doesn't matter who they are. Doesn't matter how well or how little you know them. Just be kind to somebody, and it will change your life. Pray for everyone. God bless you and love you and keep you in his hands and out of this crazy world we live in. I love you guys with all my heart, and I'll see you on Wednesday where we can hang out and do something crazy and wild and fun that has nothing to do with the Bible, and then on Sunday we'll get back to it. If I don't see you before then, which I will because Wednesday is before it, but Merry Christmas anyway. Merry Christmas, and may your families have joy and love and stay together. Something you don't get a lot of these days. The world is actively trying to destroy your family, so keep them safe, keep them together, and keep them praying. And with that, have a great night, and I bid you adieu.